So why is it utterly genius that WandaVision has been set in vintage sitcoms throughout the years? I don't know about you guys, but I really wasn't expecting WandaVision to turn out the way that it's turned out. And to be honest, it's the best possible surprise. I really didn't know where they were going to go from Avengers Endgame. It was so huge, so emotional, they just tick so many boxes with that show, it's ridiculous. And then the very first show after Avengers Endgame is WandaVision. It's really kind of building the tension. You can't wait for the next episode again. Kind of like what broadcast used to be, but now it's not. But anyway, we digress. So they took what was this hugely science fiction, action, thriller, alternate universe, and then they based it in the style and eras of sitcoms from the 50s that we know. We recognize the shows and the tropes and the visuals that they've gone out and created for each episode of the series. Now, for those of you who have not seen WandaVision, you probably don't know that each episode actually transpires in a totally new decade of TV sitcom history, with the first episode starting in the 50s, with massively 50s style look, story, sound, even the way they walk and talk have been specifically designed to evoke something from that era. But why on earth is this choice so successful?
Have a good day, dear.
Nostalgia, which is probably what you feel when you're watching WandaVision because you recognize something from your past, is actually incredibly healthy for the human mind. We revert back to certain memories and ideals of our past, and that helps us deal with current harder situations and makes us more emotionally resilient. It also reminds us that there are better times ahead. So all in all, it's a very positive thing. Now, obviously that can swing the other way if you are too nostalgic. You look for the answers so much in the past and you're not really in the present at all, then there can be just as much detrimental effects. And I think this is what's key to the current story in WandaVision. It really does show us the ramifications of looking for the answers in our past so much, looking for almost a reality that could never have existed so much that we lose all grasp on reality.
Wanda, welcome home.
Now pair that concept of nostalgia with good filmmaking. And good filmmaking really is when the filmmakers, the director, the writer, the producers, they take a look at the characters. They take a look at those characters' pasts, their motivations, their moral code, and they come up with new and interesting ways to explore that character's psyche and the situations that they can throw at that character. Now, as you probably know, and if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame, probably go watch that now before you watch this bit. At the end of Infinity War, we see Vision, the titular hero, is killed in the fight. In fact, twice he's killed, once by Wanda and once by... So we already know and understand that Wanda has seen the death of the love of her life twice in mere moments. We don't meet Wanda again in Avengers Endgame on a personal level like we do with many of the other characters. So we really haven't had time to check in with where she's at since the death of Vision.
I can't feel you.
So WandaVision picks up from that in a beautiful way and explores what would a person with incredible time and space-bending powers do to get the love of their life back? Well, this is where the creators of WandaVision, I think, have done an amazing job at consistently surprising us, creating a story and a world which not only makes sense, but also utilizes the power of nostalgia in the audience to create an incredibly powerful story in this TV series. So what do we know about Wanda? Well, from her history and from the universe, we already know that she had a pretty troubled childhood.
Wanda, teorin. Dia bang vad det zaiste. Mine moster.
And even into her young adult years as well with her brother. And then she's watched many people she loves die in front of her. She has had huge traumas, feeling the guilt and sense of responsibility from her actions where innocent civilians have died through their battles in the various films. It was only a matter of time before one of the characters would try to escape the responsibilities of reality and try to change things based on the fact that they have the power to do so. So when she goes and changes an entire town to be that of a sitcom, we then think to ourselves, well, where does she get this idea from? I think we can easily see that what they've done here is they've taken the nostalgia that we have as an audience for shows of those periods and transposed that into the character, allowed the character to try and find the perfect era, the perfect time and sensibility and moral code for her to live a happy life with the love of her life, Vision. With Wanda Maximoff's history of, well, not being a very good history, she probably doesn't have that many good nostalgic memories to pull from her history. So instead, she's gone and pulled from sitcoms that maybe she remembers from her childhood and that she remembers fondly for having an idealistic vision or version of life that she would love to have with Vision. So ultimately, by exploring Wanda's own motivations to find the perfect life from her own nostalgic memories of TV sitcom, we actually get to understand Wanda so incredibly well. We see that she is willing to do almost anything to be with Vision.
You can't control me the way you do them.
Can't I?
So the filmmakers have used each era's cliches, the stories that used to be explored in those times in sitcom, to actually explore Wanda's own character, to explore her motivations and how flawed it all is. In this way, it gives them the motivation to move to another era each and every week, as each era fails to live up to her desire, the desire for a perfect life. And this is ultimately the core problem with sitcoms in general, from all eras. They present a version of life which is impossible to live up to.
Oh, Agnes, you're a lifesaver.
What kind of housewife would I be if I didn't have a gourmet meal for four just lying about the place?
Unfortunately, I believe that the only way that this story can be completed is tragically, because there is no way that Wanda and Vision can live in an impossible sitcom stylized world with ideals and values that are impossible to live up to. A lifestyle that is just not real. And you see this in the way in which all the characters around Wanda are desperately trying to get out of this sitcom world.
Please help me.
Vision can see, even though his mind has been altered by Wanda, he can see that there is something wrong. He's working it out, episode on episode. And I really, really look forward to seeing how they wrap up this story, and I really hope that they find a way of pulling together all of these incredible elements and stories that they've explored, the eras they've explored, in a fantastic message for us at home.
Wanda? Be good.
It really allows the filmmakers to explore some of the more troubling aspects of what sitcoms in each era used to explore. Tell the audience this is the right way to live. Each era had different stereotypes, different social rules that were either healthy or not healthy. Gender roles have changed over time, and it's incredible to see each episode so starkly different from the others. From the attire to the way in which the cameras moved to the stories that were explored. The filmmakers even went as far to actually use entirely different lenses, cameras, lighting and aesthetics in the home to really convey the story each and every time. Even the rooms change entirely from era to era, as if each home, the ideal home, changed from era to era. This is some brilliant, meticulous, detail-oriented filmmaking, and makes WandaVision worth a watch just for that.
Wanda. Who's doing this to you, Wanda?